And I worked in healthcare, I knew you could get help, but I didn't do it. But I am an honest person, I'm not a liar. How do you face somebody when you've done something like this? How do you take someone's life and then go on with your own? I don't know how.
Jennifer Gilman grew up in rural Minnesota, and when she became pregnant at 16, she was determined to be the best mother possible. She was determined to provide her son with a good future, and she pursued a degree in nursing. She eventually purchased a home and land in rural Blue Earth County, Minnesota. Between raising her son and focusing on her career, she did not have much time for dating. In 2007, she met 24-year-old Jim Nibbe. He was helping a friend with a medical crisis, and Jennifer was the nurse responding to that emergency. The two started to date and found they both enjoyed hunting and spending time together. It wasn't long before Jim proposed, and the couple was married in 2008. Jennifer was still working as a nurse, often working 2 different jobs to make ends meet. Jim was an apprentice electrician, not earning a fraction of his wife's income. This was a source of frustration to Jennifer, which led to dissatisfaction with her marriage and inspired her to contact a previous boyfriend. Jim was still deeply in love with his wife and tried everything possible to please her. In 2010, he bought her her own shotgun to use when they went on their camping trips. Days later, she shot him in his sleep with that very gun.
That's kind of the theme of the day everyone has told me that I've talked to.
Brady had this business, it was the day before the wake. We ended up having this crap too.
How long did it last? Was it a while?
It was a good 3-4 days. He had a fever and stuff too, so. Just a couple questions. Can I ask some questions or no?
You can, but what we have to clarify a couple things, Jen, just for the record, is that you initiated and told the jail that you wanted to talk to us.
Yes.
So that's why we came in here.
Yes.
And met with you. And then the other thing is, for us to talk to you at all, we have to read your rights because you're in custody now. So I do have to do that again.
Okay.
And if there's a question you don't want to answer or something like that, you never have to. That's maybe I haven't made that clear before, but I do have to go through that again, okay?
That's fine.
All right. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can all be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer now or have a lawyer present now or any time during questioning. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed for you without cost.
Okay.
Do you understand each of these rights I've explained to you?
I do.
And having them in mind, are you willing to speak with us at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
For one thing for Monday is because the lawyer that I wanted to get, and as I'm thinking about things and things are going through my mind, if I decide not to hire this lawyer, you said, is one going to be appointed to me on Monday then? Is that how that works?
Right. If you decided not to hire a lawyer that you've already talked to, you can tell the court, you can either tell the court, I have this lawyer, or I have that lawyer, or I'm going to call a lawyer, or I'd like you to appoint me a lawyer, whichever. You just need to tell the court what your intentions are.
Okay.
Yep.
The second thing is am I ever at any chance going to be able to say hi to Brady or talk to him at all or anything? Or
Brady is Nibbe's 16-year-old son. Brady had a good relationship with his stepfather and was frightened and confused during his interview with the police. And we'll hear more about what happened next after a quick word from today's sponsor, Aura. If you've ever found your name or information on a site you didn't even know existed, you're definitely not alone. Data brokers make a ton of money from selling your personal data. And while you can reach out to each one individually and ask for your data to be removed, you'd find that actually doing so can be difficult and extremely time-consuming. As technology improves, scams and cyber criminals also get smarter. Now is the best time to reconsider how you make sure you and your family's information stays safe and protected on the internet. And Aura does exactly that. Aura makes sure your personal data stays personal by removing your personal information from data brokers and people search sites that can and will sell your identity to scammers and thieves. Aura does a ton more to protect you with services like financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, and more. And with their 60-day money-back guarantee, trying it out is truly risk-free. Aura is giving my viewers a full 2-week completely free trial by going to aura.com/stranger stories so you can try it out for yourself and see just how useful their services are. Stop getting exploited And let Aura protect your information by starting your 14-day free trial now by using my link in the description.
I don't want to make a promise,
Okay.
but
fine.
it's possible.
It's fine.
Court hearings are open to the public.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means family can come, anybody can come. For that matter, they're open to the public. And Brady is 16, so he would be considered old enough to come into the courtroom and be there. Now, generally, they're not going to let you go have physical contact. I don't think with them is generally the way it works.
Okay.
Over video
Oh, I see.
at the jail house.
At the jail, but I mean, up in court, you'd see him. But like, if you tried to go have physical
Right.
contact, that they would probably stop you because there's always issues. And I'm not saying you would do this, but issues of if somebody's trying to smuggle something to somebody,
Yes.
so they try to avoid the contact.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it's not absolutely not possible, but I'm not gonna guarantee it either, because it just kind of depends on some things.
What was I? You said homicide yesterday. What are my convictions?
Well, you're not convicted of anything yet. You're charged.
Okay, what am I charged
You're
with?
charged
I never
with-
got a charge sheet or a charge.
The jail had a copy of it.
They
I
have a
think.
copy of it over there.
Oh.
Maybe, did you ask them to see it or anything? Or
I didn't, I guess.
Okay.
We can make that happen till we go back
Right,
over
but I
it.
can
Okay.
tell you it's second degree
Okay.
murder is what you're charged with.
Okay.
That's
And what does that entail?
well,
Well,
I think it's second degree intentional murder is what you're charged with. So that just
Uh-huh.
means that you intended to kill somebody. It's
I see.
it's if you accidentally shoot somebody, that's generally charged as manslaughter, for instance. Like if you're being careless with a gun, doing something crazy and it goes off, a lot of times you'll see guys think a gun's unloaded and they point it and pull the trigger and it's not. That's oftentimes charged like as a manslaughter because it was an accident, but you were still doing something that you really shouldn't have been doing.
Right. Right.
Then you'd be charged with manslaughter. Then the next step up from that is second degree murder.
I
So,
see.
so that's the situation.
I don't know what to say. I just want all this to go away.
I know.
And I know it's not going to.
And I think sometimes it's what we're talking to you about without us knowing what exactly happened.
Like I said, I mean, we know about the drug stuff, Jen. Okay, if you're out of your mind on drugs, you're out of your mind on drugs. That's okay, but we need to know that and hear it from you, I guess, is the only thing,
Nibbe was addicted to prescription medication. Her increasing need for money to support her habit was one of the motivations for the murder.
I have an addiction to prescription pain pills.
Okay. When did it start?
I'm so ashamed.
It's okay.
I call prescriptions in for myself. I'm just so ashamed.
It's okay.
A lot of people have things happen, and a lot of people make mistakes. You're not the only person that's ever been addicted to prescription pain medication.
It's okay. Was there an event that kind of started that off, that precipitated that? Did you get injured or something, or just?
I injured my ankle a while ago. And it got worse after. While we were dating that first year, it wasn't too bad, and then it was slightly before I think we got married that I ended up becoming addicted to them and needing to have them all the time. Otherwise, I would go through withdrawal.
Okay. What did it start with tramadol or start with something else?
No, it's just always been
It's been
tramadol.
tramadol. Because
Yeah.
that's not a commonly prescribed drug, is it?
It's not even a controlled substance.
Okay.
It's not even a controlled narcotic, but it has opioid effect.
Okay, so it kind of affects your brain the same way a narcotic would.
Yep.
Okay. And how much? I mean, how much are you using right now? How much had you been using on average?
180 pills a week,
Oh,
which is usually 8 per day is the max.
okay. And those are what? How many milligram? Like 40 milligram?
50.
50 milligram pills.
A large number of people become addicted to pain medication that they are prescribed after an injury or surgery. They usually do not realize what is happening until it is too late.
Wow.
My life wasn't, this is how it was supposed to go.
Well, and it sounds like from some of the stuff we're hearing, for a while, you've been kind of carrying all the bills and that kind of stuff. So you've been under, a lot of pressure to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I'm sure that doesn't help.
I never wanted to hurt anybody. But I am an honest person. I'm not a liar. And I've always taught that to my son. But I've become that person. I've become that liar that finding excuses why I'd be late for work and stuff, and a lot of it was the meds. A lot of it was the using. And I worked in healthcare. I knew you could get help, but I didn't do it.
A lot of people have to battle through stuff too, Jen. Like I said, it's nothing that anybody wants to talk about too, but you're not the only person that's had to go through that stuff. And it has effects on people where they do stuff that they wouldn't normally do. It changes them, It really does. We see it all the time. And prescription drug stuff is getting to be bigger than anything else, so there's a lot of people that have problems with it.
I can't face anybody. How do you face somebody when you've done something like this?
I know.
It was like I was there, but I wasn't.
Like you were not in your person watching yourself do something and...
Saying it was the devil. Get rid of it.
Was there voices telling you that? Did you feel like you were hallucinating?
I don't know.
You hadn't slept all night, had you? I could tell that morning you looked like you'd been up for hours and hours. And you've been taking way too many pills?
Yeah.
Do you ever...
Way too many.
Do you ever crush them up? Are you ingesting them any other way than...
Sorry, I have some hair or something in my mouth. I usually just took them as pills.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I never injected or anything like that.
Okay.
Is it kind of a secret you were keeping too, or did other people know about it much?
Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about it.
It is easy to hide this from family members, although some may become suspicious about changes in mood or behavior.
Getting harder to keep that secret, or?
Well, financially wise, I suppose it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to pay for those. And it wasn't cheap, but I also had to pay for everything else. So.
Yeah, it seemed like they said from what we're hearing, Jim hadn't been working much up until recently.
Up until these last 4 weeks, I suppose.
So you were carrying the mortgage and the bills, and they say working 3 jobs. It's a lot of pressure.
I don't understand how somebody goes from this to this, just like that. I don't get it.
I know. You know what, Jen? I want to tell you just about my friend, my best friend in the whole world. We've been friends for many years, worked together, do stuff outside of work together.
I know you can lie to me though. Is this bullshit?
No, it is not bullshit.
Okay, I'm
And
sorry,
you know what?
you guys.
No, listen.
I'm not stupid either.
No, I know
though,
you're not
so.
stupid. Jen, I absolutely know you're not stupid, okay? We've talked to a ton of people, and we've talked to you, and I know you are not stupid, and I do not think you're stupid, and neither does Paul.
And we've spent a lot of time talking together, and I don't
Right.
think
We don't think you're stupid. This is a true story, and I'm just telling you this because I want you to understand that we're not these evil people who just think terribly of you, okay? But I had a good friend. We were very close for 12 years, partners at work, hung out outside of work. We were like this, okay? We're kind of like you and Carrie were, you know what I mean? We're tight. And he had hurt his back, and then he had hurt his knee, both on work-related injuries, and he had gotten hooked on pain pills. He was taking oxycodone though, but same effect on the brain probably. And I had no idea, and he had gotten addicted, and he was doing the same types of things, internet pharmacies, taking all these pills, and it destroyed his life. It destroyed our friendship. He ended up losing his job. I mean, and he was out of his mind, and he was doing crazy things. And this was my best friend, and I'm like, this can't be. This can't be happening. I don't want to believe it, but it does happen because it controls you. And this is not a BS story. I swear to you, it's a true story. So I can't relate personally, like I can say I've been in your shoes, but I've seen it before. Okay, I've seen it before up close, and it's very powerful. And like I've said before, it makes people do things that they wouldn't do in a million years. And we can't. None of us can go back and undo what's happened. Okay? As much as you want to, okay, I know you want to, but we can't.
God, if I could give it back in our feet, I would.
What?
If I could give it my life, I would.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. You said something, Jen, that we can lie to you, and we to a degree police can, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, I promise. You have my word. I'm not. I hope you can look at me in the eyes and believe that I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. We don't want to do that. We don't need to do that. You said yourself, you've always been an honest person, and that's, again, all the people we've talked to, your friends, your family, all say the same thing, okay? You are of good character, okay? You have no criminal record. You have worked hard to make something of yourself, and you've worked very hard to make something of Brady, and he is a great kid. He is number one in his class.
He is a good kid. Oh
Yeah.
God, he's a good kid. This is gonna kill him.
Well, no, Brady can survive this, okay? He can survive this. Okay, it's gonna be hard. Okay?
Nobody's gonna ever forgive me. I guess I can't blame them.
Many of Nibbe's friends and family members will struggle to come to terms with what she has done. James was loved by everyone, and it will be hard to forgive Nibs in any way for causing his death.
But so sometimes they will, though.
I don't know that I would say that. I don't say that would necessarily be the case.
So if I plead guilty on Monday, what is going to happen to me?
That I can't tell you that. And again, I told you I won't lie. I don't know. Okay, all those decisions, our job, Paul's job, my job, we're not here to judge you. Okay,
I know.
It's only our job to gather the facts, to find the truth, and present that to the prosecuting attorney. They make the decision on charges. The judge has input on, all those things on sentence, and that's all, that's all stuff we're getting, the cart kind of ahead of the horse here, But, what I can tell you, that the only thing we can do for you is try and present your story fairly and accurately. And that's what I've promised people before, is I won't twist things, okay? I won't try to portray you as something that you're not, okay? I'm not going to try to just put spin on it, you know what I mean? I can promise you, that's the only thing I promise you, is that I can make sure that what is real and true and accurate goes forward. And if you present, I would never go to the court and say, oh, I think Jennifer has, been a terrible mother and a terrible wife. I don't think those things at all. I think that, you've done the right things, okay? And I would be honest in that, okay? You know, what would happen to you, you know, what potential sentences and those kinds of things, man, that's all for people above us. That's for prosecuting and attorneys to make on charging decisions and judges, you know, that's all beyond us. I can't make that up. That's just the way
Are they
it is.
gonna make me reenact everything?
No, I don't. You know, to enter a guilty plea, you have to give some statement of what happened for the court for the judge to be satisfied that it's believable and he accepts it and all those things. You know, because sometimes, crazy as it sounds, sometimes people who didn't do things sometimes do claim to have done something, and so the judge has to make sure that he believes, you know, that. But as far as actually reenacting things, no.
And I think too, a lot of you know, what we do too is for courts and for our job for that. But a lot of what we do too is for the people that are left behind. You know, I personally would you know, if I empathize with the family too. I'm sure that they kind of would want to know too exactly.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
and
that's the biggest question right now. Probably that the people we talk to have is they want to know how and why. You know, they just want answers. You know, they want something that they can kind of wrap their mind around and, you know, say, well, okay, this is why this all happened.
And we kind of got a little bit of a window into things through our investigation too, you know. But again, you know, we weren't there, so.
There's just so many things going through my head, I don't know. I mean, it's everything we've talked about. It's the pressure of everything, the finances, and the drugs.
All of these are factors, but Nibbe still hasn't mentioned her communications with one of her ex-boyfriends.
And when you live your day for that next fix.
And Jim didn't know anything about this either. You were able to keep it from him, at least.
For the most part,
Mhm.
yeah. I would say it was my headache medicine or stomach medicine or.
And you know, your family and everybody has said, yeah, Jen's, we don't think she's well physically. You know, that's people have told us that. They've recognized that something's wrong. They don't know what.
Yeah.
You know, but
Like I said, it was me, but it wasn't me.
I know. Well, Jen, what's more important than you know, it happened, you can't back up and do it. Obviously you're sorry. Okay, you said yourself if you could change it and give your life, you would. Is that true? You said that? That's what you meant?
Yeah.
Because there again, those are things that I think that's important for people to hear that from you. You know, how you feel that you're not some uncaring. Okay.
It was horrible. It was horrible once it happened. I thought, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I made it look like someone tried to hurt me and came in and.
Okay. I want to make sure on a couple things though that are important. Okay. Brady had nothing to do with any of this.
No.
Swear.
I swear to God. No, I swear to
And
God.
he doesn't know
No.
anything about it. He didn't help you set the scene up or
No.
anything.
Oh,
You
God,
truly,
no.
you truly didn't wake him up until.
No.
The investigation determined that Nibbe acted alone, and Brady had no idea that his mother had intended to hurt his stepfather.
Afterwards.
I swear to God.
Okay.
I swear on my life. I swear.
Well, I know. I believe you if you swear that it's the truth. But
I do.
But I have to ask you that.
Yes.
I have to be clear on that.
I do. Brady
yeah.
had absolutely nothing to do with it. He was so startled
Mm-hmm.
when I went down there, because I was on the phone with 911. When I went down there to ask him, he was asleep. You know,
Okay.
he was dead asleep, and I called his name twice, and then he finally woke up. with the big eyes, like, what the hell is going on, Mom?
Right. So his reactions, which they seem like they're all very normal and appropriate for somebody in that situation, that's all legit.
Yep.
Okay.
Brady knew nothing about it. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Did anybody know about it?
No. No.
Carrie, nobody?
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody.
Okay. I believe you. How long had you been thinking about it, though, that night? I mean, like you say, you were up all night.
I went to sleep at one point.
Okay.
Because we went to sleep, and I think by the time I actually fell asleep, though, it was like probably 12:30. And then I woke up at 4:30
Okay.
to my alarm,
Okay.
and I shut that off, and I had fallen back asleep.
Okay.
And then when it was 5:30, that's when I all of a sudden got into a panic and went. Because I had taken some meds.
And you hadn't had much sleep.
So, it just makes me sick even thinking about it.
I know.
And what I did.
I know. I'm sure it's been just killing you the last few days.
It's been killing me since the day it happened.
And I think when we were talking to you too,
Yeah.
No,
you
that
could tell, you know,
it shows. It's clear.
it's a lot to carry
I don't
around.
know how I'm gonna live with this the rest of my life. I don't know how. But the other thing is, though, is I know that Jim is in heaven. And that Brady will someday go to heaven. And then if I try to take my own life, I won't be with them. Because that just crossed my mind too.
Well, and I would just encourage you, please don't try to push those thoughts out, because you know what? You made a mistake, but you're still Brady's mother, and you're going to be his mother for the rest of his life, and you need to continue to do that, okay?
Yeah.
That
Even if it is for my child. I'm just sick about it. I am just so sick.
It sounds like when I talked to Carrie the one day, we were going to meet with the minister, or
Yes. With
You
Pastor
did.
Nancy.
Nancy.
Yep. Pastor Nancy, we met.
So you are very active in the church, like you said that
Yeah.
way too.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm sure that's part of it too. It's probably difficult to carry this around too when you're active in the
feeling
church
guilty
like that
and
too, you
Might
know.
be an honest person,
Right.
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I think to me it speaks volumes about what we've been hearing about you from everybody else.
right, and that's
You know.
But
that's
I took somebody's son and I took somebody's brother and grandson and uncle and he was a good person. He was a good person. There were some things in our marriage that were not the greatest, but I mean,
mhm.
he was a good person. I just can't live with this lie.
And that's the first step that you've taken now, Jen, is you're recognizing that you are still a person with good qualities, okay? And you're on the right track to try and still be that person. You know what I mean? This is not the end of Jen, okay? It's not. This is you're gonna.
I feel like it is.
Well, I know, but
To avoid Nibbe shutting down, the detectives have to prevent her from drowning in hopelessness, even though the reality of her future is far from pleasant.
How can somebody do that? kept saying no, and it was like someone was telling me, he's the devil. He's the devil.
Telling you that Jim's the devil?
And I did it.
And then you thought, oh my God, what did I do?
Thank you for letting me bury him
It's okay.
before arresting me. I appreciate that.
Okay. You're welcome. And you deserve to have that. You deserve to have that closure and your say goodbye. Okay? Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean you didn't care about him.
He was a good man. I need help though.
And I know that this is really hard, and I don't want to push you, okay?
Okay.
I don't. I really don't. And I'm not going to, and Paul's not either, okay? This is you, and I'm going to write the report that way.
Okay.
That Jen did this of her own volition. We didn't make her do this. She is a big person, is a person of strong enough character, and said, I'm going to be honest and do this, okay? Because that's what happened, right?
Yes.
And I guarantee I will make the report reflect that, okay? That is the way this happened, and I'm not gonna push you. I know you're having a very hard time with this, okay? Which is completely understandable. But we do need to go through the details, or we'd like to, just one time, okay?
Okay.
And you do it, and we're not gonna push, and you do it at your own pace, okay? But I know you want to have the truth out there, exactly the truth. Okay, from start to finish, one time.
I don't know where to start. I guess.
Let's start Monday night.
Monday
Okay.
night. Okay.
Let's start Monday night. You're with Carrie, right? She was not doing well, not feeling well. Is that true?
Yep.
Okay, I thought it
Yes,
was.
that was very true.
Okay.
And there is something I'd like to clear up. Supposedly, she said that I didn't go on an ambulance call. I did go on an
Okay.
ambulance call that night.
On the ambulance call on Saturday,
Yes,
the
on
Saturday,
Saturday night.
when she was not feeling well as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
I did go on that
Okay.
ambulance call, and she said, "Oh, I told you," and I said, "I told you I went on that ambulance
Okay,
call."
so she's
There-
mistaken.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So some things are not always exactly clear in her head
Okay.
either. So, but
I will make a note for us to square that away. And you know what? We can go check the records,
sure.
and they'll show that you were there. So
Exactly. I'll be on the run report. So.
right.
Um,
Okay. So let's start with Monday night when you're with Carrie.
So Monday night, I was with Carrie. We talked about, let's see, what did we talk about? She wasn't feeling good. We talked about all at work, because they had tried to, I guess, get her to work and didn't work. And the bosses were mad because they had made her come in on Sunday, and I guess she had a work note saying she wasn't supposed to be there and stuff.
Okay.
So then we went out to Monpause because of the whole, there had been people with flashlights and stuff in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So we went out there to check to make sure everything was okay.
So that's all true too. That wasn't made up or anything
Right.
about
Right.
this. Okay.
And Yukon freaking out the other night.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's
was
true
that
too.
was true too.
Okay.
Yeah, that was true too.
Okay.
And so we checked that out and tried to reiterate to Pa not to, go outside by himself and stuff. And then as I was leaving Carrie's, Jim had called, and I think I had missed his call, so I called him back, and he said he was just getting home from work. So we went back home.
It is possible that Nibbe was planning the murder several days beforehand and wanted the explanation of an attacker to be convincing.
Oh, this is horrible.
I know.
It's horrible, though, you guys.
I know.
And yes, I had to, Jim, there was a gun. Jim had bought for me.
That's true too.
That's very true.
Okay.
Jim bought the gun for me, wanted me to learn how to target practice.
Was he, when you got home Monday night, was he already home or did you get home first?
He was home first and then
He
I
was
got
home,
home.
then you
He
got
was
there.
outside dinking around. So I said,
Okay.
you want to help? I said, do you want me to target shoot? Because you've been wanting me to target shoot. He had bought me that gun. So we target shoot, or we did our target practice or whatever, went inside, got a little to eat. Brady and I
So you
had our
shot
meatball
first?
fart. Yeah, I think we shot first.
Then went inside to
And then
eat.
went inside to eat.
Okay.
Yeah. And then me and Brady had our little meatball fight. And so then I came back upstairs and had finished off the rest of the meatballs and the mashed potatoes, and Jim had been making some other leftovers and stuff for him. And then I put a few dishes away and I think I brushed my teeth, and then Jim and I went and sat on the couch and watched TV. And he had set the gun in the corner
Where at? In which room?
in the, but next to the sliding glass door.
Okay.
He set that in the corner, and I knew the ammo was up there too,
Okay.
because we had put that there.
And he had showed you how to load the gun,
Mm-hmm.
how to, and can,
Yeah, because we went deer hunting the year before. I mean,
Mhm.
he was trying to teach me how to do all of that with any type of gun that he was
Mhm.
getting me to use. So,
Mhm.
and then we watched the news until 10:30 and went to bed. He was after me about sex a lot, and that was something that bothered me.
okay, cause some friction between you two?
Yeah, he
This was something that Nibbe never brought up in her journal, although she detailed her affair with another man, as well as her growing dissatisfaction with Jim. She wrote that he was a good man, but no longer wanted to remain married to him.
wanted on a pretty regular basis, and I tried the best I could, but sometimes it just sometimes I just had problems with that, and if you continue to push and push and push, it just ends up not being fun for the other person,
Right.
So,
Just be tension.
so there was resentment there, because it was a constant thing. A constant, you want to do it, you want to do it, you want it. And there was no romance left when it came to that. It was like, fine, just finish and get it over with so I can go to sleep, I guess. So, so I actually had made something up that I had a yeast infection or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, it's kinda
So he
gross.
was,
Sorry, guys.
no, that's alright, and he was that night wanting to
Yep.
have sex and you didn't want
Yep,
to?
and I didn't want to.
Did it become a big fight, or was it just kind of the,
He usually just got mad and rolled over and went to bed. That's usually the way it would go.
okay,
That happened every week.
okay,
If not twice a week, he would get mad at me for it. If he could have it every day, he could, but sometimes when you're approached in certain ways, it's just not fun anymore. So, so I laid there and I laid there. I had taken some pills before I'd gone to bed.
do you remember how many?
Probably like 6 or 8. Which sometimes when I do that I have a hard time sleeping to begin with, because that is how it messes with you sometimes.
It's kind of like make you agitated
It
and,
does. It kind of keeps you up, makes you dream,
Mhm.
stuff like that. And so I woke up alarm went off at 4:30, and I had shut it off. And I think I had a couple more pills laying on the nightstand that I had taken. Trying to remember if I had water there, if I just took them dry. I don't even know. And I had fallen back asleep though. And I woke up at 5:30 in a panic. And that's when I went out and I got the gun. And I loaded one shell. And I came back into the bedroom. And there was a throw blanket laying on the end of the bed. So I took that and kind of rested the gun on his shoulder. And they just kept saying, he's the devil, he's the devil. He's the... But I pulled the trigger.
It's okay.
Oh my god, I'm just so sick about this. This is not me. I am not this person. And then I put the gun down and realized he was bleeding. And I panicked and I went to go find his phone and I couldn't find it, so I had to run out to the craft room to get mine.
Okay.
I called 911 and I went back in to check on him. I couldn't feel a pulse.
Where did you check, on his neck or his wrist, or?
I think I checked on his wrist and his neck.
Okay.
I can't remember, to be honest with you, I can't.
But at that point, you knew he was gone.
My family is never going to forget. Neither is his. And my son.
Jim's family would not forgive Nibbe, especially after she tried to blame Jim, and she refused to allow the family to have any of his possessions.
I think it's a lot to ask for them to forgive, but I think at the same time, Jen, you're giving them some answers too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important for them.
You can't control what they do or how they feel. All you can control right now is your actions from this point forward. Okay, and you made a horrible mistake. There's no disputing that. I'm not going to minimize it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we all know that. You know, I said we don't think you're dumb. You know that. You know, but all you can control from here on out is your actions from this point forward, and all you can do is try to be the best person you can be, and set that example for Brady that even when you make a mistake, you can be honest with it. You can, you know, take your punishment and try and do the right thing. Try to make your amends with who will accept it and who, your dad. I don't know him, but he's gonna be your dad always, and your mom's gonna be your mom, and they will still love you. Will they be disappointed? Will they be hurt? Sure. That's not my lie to that either. Of course they will, but they will still care about you. Okay. I believe that.
He had so many years to live. I never thought, and I guess marijuana isn't the worst thing, but I watched my dad for 40 years deal with marijuana addiction, and you just wouldn't think you'd get yourself into drug addiction either.
Was that a long time ago, or when was that?
Dad,
Yeah, when your dad was,
he stopped smoking pot when he was 40 years old.
okay.
Yeah, he's 50. What is he, 53, 54 now?
Okay.
54. Yeah. He was a good father, though. He never, and I'm not saying it's right, but he never did it in front of us, and he never subjected us to all the weirdos and stuff that stuff can produce. But he smoked pot since he was, 20 years old, 21, until he was 40.
I just have to clarify a couple things, okay?
Yeah.
You said that there was a throw rug, is what you describe it as?
Throw a blanket.
Throw blanket.
Yeah.
And you put that up there on his shoulder and rested the gun on it. Was that for any other reason other than to stabilize the gun? Were you trying to make it quieter so that Brady wouldn't wake up or anything like that?
Brady did not hear the shot that killed Jim.
I mean, was it like around the barrel at all, or was that your thinking at that time to not wake up Brady or not?
No, maybe not. I think because I was shaking so bad, it was
Okay.
rattling.
Okay. Just like you were
Yeah.
trembling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though Jim was a heavy sleeper, but.
Mm-hmm.
How do you take someone's life and then go on with your own? I don't know how. Do you have any other questions for me? I think I need to go lay down.
Yeah, just one other one. It was the same gun that he had taught you to shoot?
Yes.
And what kind of gun is that? I mean,
Is it a 12 gauge or a 20 gauge? I can't.
Is it a shotgun?
It's a shotgun with a scope.
Okay. And it's the action, do you know what kind of action it is? How you have to load a bullet in it?
Like a semi-automatic? Is that
Okay.
what you mean?
Do you have to pump it?
You have to pump it
Okay, is that the...
in order to.
Okay,
Yeah.
because there is another gun up there that Brady brought up.
Yes.
And I just want to verify we're on, because we'll have to sort that out, and
Yeah.
our scientists will have to do that. And you used the ammunition you said was the same ammunition?
Yep.
And it was what kind of, was it birdshot or slug?
It was slug, I think.
Okay, and do you know the difference?
No, to be
Okay.
honest, I don't.
Okay,
No.
but that's what you were shooting outside was slugs?
I believe it was slugs.
Which is
yeah.
what you use for deer hunting, is what he's having you practice with.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
And I know Mike said that we weren't going to push you, and is it okay if I ask you? Because I was wondering too, and because we had talked that morning and stuff, and then I went in there and you were on the couch sitting there with Brady. Things that kind of, there was stuff laying there in the room, and there was a chair that was moved and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When did all that stuff get put in the room or changed, or? Because our assumption was that you kind of set that stuff up.
That was,
Furniture had been overturned and moved around the room to make it appear as if there had been a break-in.
I can't remember if
Okay.
it was before or after.
Okay.
Do you remember though what was put out there and moved around and stuff?
I know I had pushed the chair. I had disheveled the chair.
Yeah.
That like rocking
Yeah, the
type
rocking chair with the newsstand next to it.
Okay.
And the rope and the knife.
And where did the rope come from?
It was on the counter.
Okay. And the knife is a kitchen knife?
Yeah.
And then the sai, that big weed cutter thing,
Mm-hmm.
how does that come into play in this? Were you thinking that would help your story about an intruder, or
It was out in the garage.
in the attached garage?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you brought that in there
Yeah.
and just laid it down?
Yes.
Okay. That would have been before you called 911, though.
Yes.
And I know I just have a couple other quick questions. When I talked to you before, remember I asked you about impact spatter on your clothing?
Yeah.
The clothing that we collected from you, was it the clothing you were wearing at the time?
Yeah.
It was. But you were very confident that there would be no impact spatter on there. Why is that? Or
Oh, I don't know.
you just were playing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that day you said, oh, there won't be any blood spatter on my clothing.
I didn't. I don't even remember that, to be
Okay.
honest with you. I
Okay.
don't.
Okay. I just was wondering if you had changed clothes or something, or
No.
why you were, because you were very confident in that answer. And I just was curious because, usually when there's something where there's a gunshot, as you know, there's blood splatter and it gets on your clothes, and the scientists can look at that
Yeah.
and see that it's a different type of stain, versus. And just the last couple things, so the cuts on your legs,
Yeah.
you inflicted?
Yes.
The marks on your neck?
Yes,
You
they're
inflicted?
self-inflicted.
Brady didn't help you inflict any
No.
of those things or do any of that?
No.
I know you said he's not involved, but I'm just
No.
making sure. The one mark on your neck looked like a fork mark? Like a fork? Is that what did you use to make the marks on your neck, I guess, is what I'm
The
asking.
knife.
You used the knife to make the marks on your neck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And same thing with your arms?
Yeah.
And the knife that you put out there or a different knife?
No, the same knife.
That same knife,
Yeah.
okay. And I can't, and I know that, there's probably more questions. Is there anything that you want us to make sure that goes in the report that the prosecutor knows that, I know you're sorry, right?
I'm very
That's
sorry.
obvious. That's obvious, but have you talked to anybody and told anybody about this yet, Jen?
No.
Besides us?
No.
You're not called your dad or talked to anybody?
No.
Okay.
We had talked about that wedding ring.
Did we ever find it?
That's what I was wondering if
Yeah,
you knew.
we don't have it, and it wasn't with Jim, so
Okay.
you didn't do anything with it?
I did not. No, I
Okay.
didn't.
Well, somebody.
His sister is kind of messed up though, and we caught her out at the farm after this happened, and she was taking some of his shirts and stuff, and I'm almost adamant she took it, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
Leslie.
Okay.
The family wanted personal items to remember Jim and did not feel that Nibbe, as his killer, should have access to them.
Because we did check all over, and we just to make sure we didn't have it.
Right.
So
That's
we're being honest
interesting.
with you on that. So, but that was in my mind as to something if you didn't know what happened with it or something.
No.
So.
Okay. Any other questions for us? Anything you want us to answer?
What do I do on Monday?
You'll go to court.
Okay.
And do they usually do a morning arraignment bar here?
Usually it's around 8:15.
Okay.
They'll get you in at some point in the morning. Your case is probably gonna be a little bit different just because it's been publicized and stuff too. But
Okay.
they'll get you in Monday morning.
Okay.
And yeah, you can tell the judge you need an attorney if you want an attorney. You can. It's up to you. You hold the cards as to how this goes forward.
Because if I plead guilty, I don't even really need an attorney, do I?
Well, on something this serious, the judge probably won't accept your plea without you at least talking to one.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. I
Sure.
think that'll happen, and that's happened in other places where I've been involved in a lot of murder cases, and
Okay.
generally the judge will say, well, I'm not going to accept your plea till you at least talk to an attorney.
Okay.
In something serious like this. So that's probably what would happen. I mean, you can tell them what you want to do. You can tell them.
Even when the detectives are sure they have identified the killer, confessions must be handled carefully. People make false confessions for various reasons, including shielding another person.
You can tell the judge. You can speak to him. You'll have an opportunity to speak at your arraignment. They generally at an arraignment will talk about bail. On something like this, the prosecutor will ask for high bail. I don't know. And you can ask for, of course, lower bail if you want, and argue why you could have lower bail. I'm not going to lie to you. That's the chances of you getting low bail would be pretty unlikely
I
on
would
something like
assume
this.
not.
Yeah, I'm not going to BS you on that. That's, have you been able to make phone calls though from the jail? If you wanted to, they did give you a calling card or
They
whatever.
gave me a calling card. I did try to call my attorney, which I really had a hard time getting through to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I did talk to him this morning.
Okay.
Um,
Who was that?
Earl.
It was Earl. That
Earl
was the
Gray.
right name. Okay.
Yeah, Earl Gray.
Okay. So you talked to him this morning.
Yep.
Okay.
He told me just to sit tight. When I talked to my dad this afternoon, I just heard the disappointment in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me, he says, "What do you need to tell me?" And so I told him about the drug addiction, and I told him about the finances.
Okay.
But that was all I told him.
Okay. A couple other just quick things. Ed Erickson,
Yeah.
you two never actually slept together?
No,
It was all just texting.
it was all texting.
So it was
Yes.
just flirting.
Absolutely.
It was never anything physical.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Nothing physical ever.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
So he knew nothing of any of this.
Although Nibbe hoped to get together with her ex, he had a girlfriend and baby, and had not indicated he would break up that relationship to be with Nibbe.
No, absolutely
I mean, he
not. Oh,
didn't-
no. No.
Didn't say get rid of your husband.
No,
and
no, no. No, no.
Nothing like that. So
No.
he's not involved in this in any way.
No, he's not. No, he's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
No.
And that ex-boyfriend you had brought up too, that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It's probably a way for me just to try to get some of the heat off of me, I guess.
you didn't have consultation from anyone else or talk to anybody else, these other names that were brought up at all? You didn't talk to them about
No.
this, or they didn't give you ideas on it or anything?
No, no, no. Oh,
And
goodness.
we're just verifying that because if we need to go talk to those people,
Oh,
we
sure.
don't want to go talk to them if they're
Right.
not involved in their
No, nobody else was involved. No, it was just me.
The one other curious thing I do have is the when you did, you know, I understand you're in a panic at that point.
Mm-hmm.
This happened, boom, oh my God, what did I do? You know, you're in a panic. Is there what's the reason you went with the intruder argument? Had you ever read about any other cases around this area like that or something, or
No.
anything like that? There's not a movie or something. Why did that get in your head? It just seems weird.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know,
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay.
I honestly don't know.
Okay, and that's fine. It's just something to me that's kind of a odd thing why that would be the,
I'm not sure.
you know, and it just, yeah, you know, it's a weird thing that popped in your head in that moment. That's what popped in your head. So, okay. So go ahead, Paul. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that maybe Mike and I would talk for a couple minutes outside too, and then come in and see if you need anything else real quick.
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Do you need anything else? Do you need another pop, or are you
No, this is fine.
Oh,
Thank
you
you.
sure? Because we can get something if you need something.
Thank you.
candy bar or anything like that?
No.
Sure.
I can't eat,
Okay.
to be honest. Thank you.
Okay, just a couple quick clarifications, okay? So you haven't talked to Brady at all?
No.
Okay. You didn't try to call him, or?
I did not try to call him. I told Dad to tell him I loved him. I didn't know if hearing my voice would.
Make it worse? or-
I just didn't know at this point, so.
Okay.
But you've got minutes on a phone card over there and everything.
I can get a phone card from them
Okay.
whenever I need it. It's kind
Okay.
of how it sounds
Well,
like
I just,
it works,
you know,
so.
if you wanted to call him, you know, I just wanted to make sure that you're able to with this. If you're feeling, sometimes talking to somebody that cares about you and that you care about
Yeah.
will give you a little strength, and you're going to need to hang on to that right now, you know. And like I say, he's a good kid, and he's going to be all right.
He's a
and,
good kid.
you know, he's going to know that his mom made a mistake, but he's also going to know that his mom's a good person who told the truth, who's going to go forward telling the truth, and that his mom still loves him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Did you know that I talked to him at the school about that girl that
Mhm.
time?
Lexi.
And I'll never forget him with his honesty that day.
Yeah.
You know, I think he was one of the first ones we talked to, and
Yeah.
he was a great kid at that point. Even it stood out in my mind, and I forgot. So
That's good. He's a good kid. And I've been through a lot together.
We just have a couple clarification things quick, and we'll take you back, and you can rest. You said you woke up at 5:30.
Uh-huh.
Had you been thinking about it at all for a while in bed? Like, I gotta do this. I gotta change my life. I gotta.
I think I was at night when I was laying there wondering what could I do to change my life. And that's what I had thought about, I guess. But
Okay.
did it come into your mind at all when you guys were target practicing that day before, when you asked him for help on the?
The shotgun had some sort of influence on Nibbe. Jim had only given it to her days before his death.
I can't.
It's just something that I had kind of wondered about too. With
Right. Yeah, yes and no. Because I remember being appalled by even thinking that. But I guess I can't say no, it didn't.
Do you remember, Jen? I mean, was that part of the reason you asked to shoot that day before?
No. No. No, that was something Jim was after me to do almost every day, because he had just bought that. And he's like, you really need to start practicing with it. So, no, that was...
That wasn't a purpose for shooting it that day or anything?
Okay. And you really did wake up at 5:30. That's the right time.
Yeah.
Like you said from the
Yes.
beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And so there wasn't a lot of time that passed between the time you woke up
To the time it happened.
to the
no.
time it happened, just minutes.
Probably
Would you
minutes,
say?
yeah.
And then from then to the time you called
Yeah.
was just minutes, literally, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had you truly let the dog out before
I did.
the incident? So the dog was outside.
The dog was
Did
outside.
he start barking like crazy when the shot went off?
I don't know.
Okay. Because he's a hunting dog, so
Right.
usually that would.
He doesn't bark when shots go off.
Well, he doesn't.
No.
He's well trained.
He's trained not to,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, no, he wasn't.
The dog was one of the points of Nibbe's original story that did not add up for the police. A hunting dog would not have reacted to the sound, and if he had barked as much as she had claimed, it would likely have woken Brady.
And everything went, I usually wear earplugs and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened just so quick. I just, I did it, and everything kind of went silent in my ears.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember hearing a lot, or
Mm-hmm.
Because of the noise? Or just because of the situation in general? A gunshot in the house is very loud.
right. Yeah, I'm not sure, I guess.
Yeah.
But
And it really didn't wake Brady up. I mean, a gunshot in the house. I mean, he must be a sound sleeper too.
that, and I suppose because the door was shut between the basement and upstairs,
Okay.
and we're over here, and he's way down
Down
over there.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a pretty sound sleeper too.
Okay.
Brady was not involved.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe you.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's...
I believe you.
Okay.
I'm glad. And I believe you. So, I mean,
I'm a
within-
bad
within
parent.
it,
I know that right now, but I'm not that bad of a parent.
You've been a wonderful parent to him, and
I would
that's
never
proof.
do that.
Well, Jen, you've been a wonderful parent to Brady, and you know what? Right here, as hard as this is, and you choosing to do this, it's more of you trying to do right by him. It's not trying to do right necessarily by you. Well, it is by you too, because you're trying to be honest and show that you are the
I need to
good
make this
person.
right. I
Make
mean, I
things right.
can't bring him back, but I need to make this right.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and those are you owe some people some apologies.
Yeah.
Whether or not they'll be able to forgive you, I can't speak for them, but
Right.
that's something that you're going to have to do at some point,
Yeah.
whether it's in writing or whether it's verbally or how you can do that. I don't that's something for you to work out too. And again, you can't control how they will react or whatever, but you can just control you
Yeah.
and do your thing. The last thing, unless you have something else, Paul.
Well, do you remember how long, I mean, you said that, how long did it take before we came over to talk to you? Because you had apparently told one of the jailers too that, did we keep you waiting a long time? Before we got up here?
Today, he means
Sure.
today.
Do you
Yeah.
remember who you talked to over there or anything, or what you told them or anything?
The gal, I just asked if she could get a hold of you, and then I said your name too. And
Was it Stacy over in the jail?
I can't remember.
Stacy Graff, a sergeant? Oh, that's the one
I
that
think
called
so.
me.
She's got yeah. Then it was her because I was sitting watching TV and she said, ouch, and she said that I got a hold of. She said she knew who you were. She
Yeah.
wasn't quite sure who you were, but
Okay.
and so she says I'll call him. And then as I was sitting over there watching TV, she said I called his other phone too and left him a message. So no, it wasn't very long.
Because remember we talked on the phone the other day, and I had mentioned to you I didn't want to get in trouble about initiating stuff with you or anything, and
Right. Very for the record, very clearly,
Mm-hmm.
this was your choice of your own doing today.
Yes, I asked you both to come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I asked you, and I had asked for you. At first I thought she was only going to be able to get you to come in, but
But you wanted to speak to us investigators about this matter.
yes.
nobody twisted your arm or
No.
tricked you or coerced you or
No.
anything like that. When
No.
we came in, I read your rights.
Yes,
You understood them.
Mhm.
You're in clear mind today.
I am.
You've not been using any drugs today.
Oh, absolutely not.
I hope they haven't been doing anything.
No.
And so and after having read your rights, you chose to speak with us,
Mhm.
correct? Okay. And the only thing that we've promised you is that we would be fair about the truth in your story, that we wouldn't twist things
Yeah.
that you said, correct?
Yeah.
And be truthful. So we've not made any other promises to you or anything like that?
No.
Okay. I just want to have that clear so we're all on the same page on that,
Yeah.
that you were the one who said, get them guys in here, I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
I want that, because I want that to show that you're the one who initiated of your own will.
I did.
So,
Are you glad you talked to us?
I am.
I know this is
I
going
do
to,
feel a little bit like a little weight has been lifted. I don't feel good about it, but I mean, I feel good that I've just told the truth.
and what that shows, Jen, is that you are still a good person, okay? Because if you didn't care, if you didn't feel bad, you wouldn't care, you know what I mean? But it shows you care about this. You've been feeling bad ever since it happened. And I know in the car yesterday when I was looking at you and your eyes are tearing up and you were nodding your head at me because you know that you feel bad, you know? I mean, I've talked to people who don't feel bad before about doing terrible things, and you're not like that at all, okay? You're not. You do, and that's obvious to Paul and obvious to me, okay? That you have a conscience, that you do feel bad, and that you want to make it right, okay?
As best I can.
As best you can.
Nibbe claims here that she wants to take responsibility, but that is later diminished when she makes accusations against Jim in an effort to reduce her sentence.
Yep. So, okay.
Is there anything else that we could do for you right now? I mean, we can get you back there to try to let you get some rest and stuff, and
Yeah, I think
And,
that'd be great. I just like to
okay.
go back there.
Okay.
and you've gotten a hold of us, or, you know, you can get a hold of us again too. You know, if you need something.
And that's the thing I would reiterate. There something may pop in your head that you forgot that you think is important, that you want on the record, you want the prosecutor to know, whatever. Please don't be afraid to tell them, hey, I need to talk to Mike or Paul. Get them in here, you know, or get a hold of them, please, and we will come in directly to
I
speak.
just want my family and their family to know that I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I can't make it go away.
If I have an opportunity to speak with Jim's family, would you like me to relay that message to them that you're sorry?
I do.
Okay, I will do that.
It won't help, but
That may or may not be. You may be right, but if you want me to relay that message to them, I will.
it'd be nice. Thank
Okay.
you. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
It was all Greenwood Andes, and she
I know. She initiated it. I know.
Styles? Really?
It's all on video. We gotta go finalize the disc, but she gave it up.
When you get that file, just let me watch it.
God damn. She called us. Yeah. She asked for a lawyer yesterday. But we had given her the speech on the car ride in here, you know, thinking that was her shot, and she said no lawyer. It's sitting in jail overnight. See, it's been eating at her and eating at her and eating at her.
During her trial, Nibbe tried to claim that Jim physically abused her. There was no evidence to support this, and even in her own journal, she referred to him as a good man and never wrote about any instance where he had harmed her. In July 2012, Jennifer Nibbe was sentenced to 25 years in prison. She was also ordered to utilize her prison earnings to pay for Jim Nibbe's funeral expenses, which totaled more than $11,000, although she has yet to make any payment toward the services. Thanks again for tuning in. Drop a like if you like this video, and check out my Patreon page if you want to support the channel even more. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.